guys, my name is Iasmina and welcome back to my channel. I make videos all about books, book recommendations, writing, and publishing your book, so if that sounds like something interesting to you, consider clicking that subscribe button. In today's video, since it is the month of February and Valentine's Day is coming up, I thought I should make a video about swoon-worthy reads. Now granted, I'm not one for romance books, pure romance books, so these are all books that are either fantasy or contemporary novels that have a really good romance in them that I particularly really like. And since I'm not that much of a romance reader, that's actually something I would like to change and try out to romance. As I've mentioned before, I have these 3 pure historical romance books, and one of them is super popular right now. This is Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. I'm really looking forward into getting into these and seeing what I think. This video is not going to be about books like these, but I will read these and I will let you know what I thought of them after I've read all 3. But without further ado, let's get into the swoon-worthy book recommendations. First, what I have to talk about is a recent one that I read, which I did give 3 stars to because I expected something different from it, but when it comes to the romance in it, I really enjoyed the romance in it, and that is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. So this is a fantasy romance book. The reason I was a little bit disappointed in it is because I expected more of the fantasy and a bit less romance, but I wasn't aware at the time that it was a fantasy romance. It was marketed as a fantasy romance, so that was my bad. But the actual romance in it is a enemies to lovers trope, so if you're into that, I would totally recommend this. Like I said, it's very, very low on the fantasy, definitely really low on the magic aspect as well. So if you're just looking for a well-written romance arc, especially an enemies to lovers trope, I would definitely recommend this. Next up is another fantasy series with a really good romance that I personally really like, and that is the Six of Crows Crooked Kingdom duology. I only have the first book here. I can't be bothered to pick up the second one, but I have read both of them, and there's quite a lot of swoon-worthy relationships in this one. But the one that I remember clearly is between Matthias and Nina. I really enjoyed following their relationship, and there's also Kaz and Inej, if that's how you pronounce their names, I'm not really sure, but they also have something going on there, which I quite enjoyed. So in general, this duology is really, really good in my opinion. I really enjoyed both of these books. There's definitely more fantasy in this one, although it's still pretty low on the magic scale, and just all around really fantastic characters in this one, so totally recommend this. Next up is one of my favorite books of all time, and that is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. So this is by far my favorite contemporary novel, and like I said, definitely one of my favorite books that I've ever read. I really need to reread this. Maybe I'll make it a goal this year to reread this because I have only read it once, but it had such a huge impact on me that, oh my gosh. One of the reasons why I love this book so much is because one of the relationships that forms in this book was so swoon-worthy, and I don't really get that swoony over relationship. I'm obviously making a video about swoon-worthy reads, but to be honest, I'm not that, like I said, I'm not that much into romance. And so when 2 characters falling in love really gets to me, that's when I'm like, oh my god, yes. And this definitely did it. So in this story, we follow 2 twins, a boy and a girl, who used to be really close when they were growing up, but you know, life happened and they sort of start growing apart. And this is a story of them trying to grow together again and also grow their separate ways, as it is a coming of age story and there is a budding relationship from the boy's perspective, which is the one that I'm talking about. But obviously, since this is one of my favorite books of all time, I would totally recommend this regardless of the romance or not. Just read this book. Next up, I have Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins, and this is the only book in this trilogy of romance stories, of contemporary romance stories that I actually enjoy. Because Anna, I enjoyed when I read it, but it was such a long time ago that thinking back now, I could totally see how that was super problematic, and I would not recommend Anna. I would also not recommend Isla because I just didn't really enjoy that one, and I also thought that one had some problematic elements, but Lola I really enjoyed, and the relationship between Cricket and Lola is so cute, and I was totally in it from the start with them. So this, like I said, follows the story of Lola and Cricket is again a part of a set of twins who used to live next door to Lola, but they have since moved out, and Lola used to have a huge crush on Cricket, and at the beginning of the story, the twins move back next door, and things progress from there. I did really enjoy the story and definitely the relationship in it. Then we have a book that I made a full review for because I really enjoyed it, and it was a newer release at the time, and that is Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen. I will link my full spoiler-free review up here and down in the description if you're interested to hear more. But this book follows our main character who goes on a summer educational program in Taipei, Taiwan, and a lot of things happen. There, she kind of expects it to be like a strict, school system, but it's actually more like a party scene, and she gets into a lot of trouble, and there's definitely a lot of swoon-worthy romance moments in here. It's actually pretty risque. It's one of the most risque YA contemporary novels that I've read for sure, because you don't really tend to get a lot of, steamy scenes in YA contemporary. It tends to be pretty mild for the most part, but this went a little bit further. Yes, totally recommend this. Just in general, I really enjoyed this book, and I really enjoyed the writing in it as well. Next, we have The Selection by Kira Cass, which I also have a spoiler-free review for if you're one of the few people who haven't read this book, because I was one of those people until last year when I finally read it, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. And one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much is because of the relationship forming between the main character and the prince. So if you're not aware, this follows the sort of bachelor kind of story. It's a YA dystopian novel. There basically is a selection of young women throughout the country who have a chance at winning the heart of the prince, and our main character is of course one of the selected, and she has different reasons for being there, but in any case the flirtatious relationship between her and the prince was really fun to read, not gonna lie, so I'm definitely gonna continue on with this series. Next up, I have another one of my favorite books of all time, and that is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elia Sands. This is a YA contemporary novel that blew me away the first time I read it. It was so different and so heartwarming and beautiful, and as you can see by the cover, it has a ton of awards. I loved this book, and again, it's one that I should really reread. We basically follow two friends, two boys that live next to each other, and they live very different lives. I really don't want to spoil this book, but I really enjoyed the friendship between these two boys. It was so heartwarming and so beautiful, and the whole book is mostly told in dialogue, in conversations between the two. Lovely. Really recommend this one. Next up, we have When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. I read this on Kindle quite a while ago, but this is a YA contemporary romance following Dimple and Rishi. Now, Dimple is going to a summer coding program. She's really into web and app development, which I'm a web developer, so I was really interested in that plotline. That's why I first picked this book up. But anyway, it's definitely a lot more romance than anything else, so just be aware of that. But Rishi is also an Indian boy, and he is tasked to woo Dimple, and he goes to this training program as well to try and woo her because their family have had an arranged marriage between them. And Dimple wants nothing to hear about this, but Rishi goes there and tries to convince her that it is actually a good idea for them to get married. It was really cute, definitely very romantic and fluffy, but if you're into that, I would definitely recommend this one. Then I have To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now this is also a super popular YA contemporary novel, and it was even made into a Netflix movie. And I've only read the first book. It is a trilogy, and I would like to read the other books as well. So in this book, the main character, Lara Jean, used to write letters to all of the crushes she's ever had before. She would just write down her feelings and stick them into a box and never look at them again. But one day she goes home and she finds that the box of letters has gone missing, and then she finds out that those letters have been mailed to all her past crushes. And things transpire from there. It was really cute. I really enjoyed the romance. This is a fake relationship trope, so if you're into that and you haven't read this, I would totally recommend it. And yeah, it was just, cute and fluffy, and I really like Lara Jean as a character, and I liked her family a lot. And yeah, it's just all around a really cute romance. And finally, the last book that I'm going to talk about in this video is again one that's more of a classic. I read this a long time ago, but to be honest, I still really like the story. And that is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now, John Green is still one of my favorite YA contemporary authors. I've read everything he's ever written. This is not my favorite of his books, but it's definitely the most different one, in my opinion. It definitely took a risk when this was written with this story. And if you're not aware, this is a cancer love story. So the main character in this, Hazel, has cancer, and she goes to a cancer support group Yeah, Cancer Kids Support Group. And that's where she meets Augustus, who is also a cancer survivor. And so we follow their relationship. I still think the story is beautiful. I can totally understand the problematic element of romanticizing illnesses, and that's an issue with these sort of stories, but the relationship between them I still really enjoy, and I really enjoy the writing style as well because it's John Green and I enjoy his writing style. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard of this book. I'm sure it's not the first time you've seen this book, but if it is a really, really popular and well-known YA novel, so if you haven't read it, I would totally recommend giving it a try. Alright, but that's all the books that I have for this video. Like I said, I'm not a huge on romance, but these books definitely had romances that piqued my interest, which is hard to pique with this subject at least. And so do let me know what you think if you've read any of these books, and if you have any recommendations for me that you think I might enjoy that's not straight up romance, but other genres that have a really strong relationship in them, a swoon-worthy relationship in them, do let me know in the comment section below so I can find more swoon-worthy reads as well. But that was it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye!